The NFL owners meeting is underway. It is April Fool's Eve. We're going to talk about Brandon Aiyuk and his situation, as well as Dre Greenlaw. We'll recap that, as well as taking a look at the two top 30 visit prospects. They just happen to be tight ends, all right here on the WayneBreezie Show. Smash that like button and let's get to it. What's going on, 49er faithful? It's your boy, the WayneBreezie, and let's start today's episode off with that's right, we're touching down as the NFL owners meeting takes place currently right now. They're in Florida just chilling, and they're having a good time, and hopefully we'll start to hear some tidbits from all the different coaches and owners will be speaking. Jed York will be speaking at some point this week, and so we'll get a chance to hear and break down some of the things that he had to say about the team. Maybe we'll ask him about his cash spending because, when we're talking about cash spending, they're going to be saving some money. The 49ers will be saving some cash for Jed York's pocket, all right? So, listen, we got a cool show for you guys. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. And if you want to support the stream, man, go ahead and become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. All right, go ahead and become a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. Now, listen, take a chance. Take a look at the Mock Draft Monday episode 13.0. It was probably the most realistic mock draft that I've ever done for the 49ers. So take a look at it. Let me know what you think. All right. Let me know what you think. It'll be super important. And don't forget to check out our partners over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie and you can save on your total purchase. That's right. Purchase. I don't know why I booed it, but you can save on your total purchase. There you go. All right, so let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and break down today's episode, and let's get right into it, baby. The NFL owners meeting is underway, and we got, Kyle Shanahan sitting down there chilling. It was tough trying to find out where Kyle Shanahan was because I feel like his best friend over to the left, far left, looked kind of like Kyle Shanahan, just a little less gray here. All right, but it looks like the coach of the Green Bay Packers, but Kyle Shanahan is there. Doesn't look like he's awake as of yet, but at least he got a chance to chill and sit. You know what I'm saying? And so Kyle is there. We're probably gonna hear from. Hopefully we hear from John Lynch. Definitely going to hear from Jay York, I believe. That's going to be scheduled. The NFL's owners and coaches meeting, and they're there talking about the new rules. They're going to go over some of the new rules. The tush-push rule is definitely there. Here was something cool and interesting that I happened a chance to come across. Now, I want to get your thoughts on this. And apparently they're going to probably vote this and I want to know what you guys feel about this particular situation. Now, let's talk about the NFL considering moving Sunday games to Thursday night games with only 3 weeks' notice. So it looks like that games will be flexed from Sunday to Thursday. I think that's what we're getting. I like how they used the San Francisco 49ers thing in the background, too. I didn't even peep that till just now. But that will be something interesting to see if all the owners vote on this particular, move. Hey, I'm all for Thursday night football. I guess I'm for it. I mean, I understand the toll on the players' bodies that Thursday night football takes. And so I get if the players don't want to play on Thursday night football. And it does suck. If you guys play fantasy football out there, it hurts you bad because my rule is don't play players on Thursday nights unless it's the first Thursday of the season where it's the first game and their bodies haven't gone through the war of attrition yet, right? So looks like we may be getting more Thursday night football games. As of right now, all right, this is just something that they're probably going to be voting on. And, as the owners' meetings continue to take place, and I'll continue to update you when it comes to that. But it's good to see Kyle Shanahan front and center. I think that's what was most important. Our head coach representing down there in Florida. All right, our head coach representing down there in Florida. And hopefully we'll get some sound bites from him very soon. All right, let's go ahead and get to the Dre Greenlaw, because there was an article that came out by I believe his name is Parker Gabriel, who works for the Denver Broncos brass, right? And he said, in this article, despite a strong last-ditch effort by the 49ers to try to keep him earlier this month at the outset of free agency. So the report came out that the 49ers definitely were trying to retain Dre Greenlaw, which I kept saying, if out of all the free agents that this team had, Dre Greenlaw needed to be the one that they retained, because he's a special piece. Now, apparently there's reports out there where the San Francisco 49ers outbid the Denver Broncos, right? So they were going to pay Dre Greenlaw even more money. Now, Cam Inman, 49ers beat writer, it said general manager John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan, in fact, had flown to Greenlaw's home in Texas to check in with him. Multiple sources with knowledge of the situation told the Denver Post San Francisco eventually had outbid the Broncos, who owned in on Dre Greenlaw. So the 49ers coughed up more money. They coughed up more money for Dre Greenlaw. And prior I did an episode about players wanting to play here. And I wasn't trying to take a shot at the team or Kyle Shanahan or whatever, even though it was kind of titled, do players want to play for Kyle Shanahan? It wasn't that. It was more like, do players really want to do players still want to play in San Francisco? Do they see their future here? And for Dre Greenlaw, look, I respect the guy. He wants to be the main guy. If that's his take, I support that 100%. I support it 100%. It's like, if he wants to be the Mike linebacker, then he has no other choice but to go to a different place to be the Mike linebacker. He signed a 3-year deal with the Denver Broncos, and it sounds like he's the head general over there for their linebacking core that they're going to build. And for Dre Greenlaw, I wish him nothing but success over there, to a healthy season for Dre Greenlaw. But it definitely hurt the 49ers. And I'm not cool when you hurt the 49ers. So, when we play football, we play them. I hope, whenever that happens, it's not on the schedule this season, but, possibly a Super Bowl. I hope the 49ers remember that. You know what I'm saying? But for Dre Greenlaw, great opportunity over in Denver. I'm not even mad that he chose to go to Denver. But I feel like there's something else that's not being discussed, underlying. There's got to be a reason why. I just don't feel like, if the 49ers were paying, look, I'll put it like this. If a team is willing to pay me more money to do less, I'm under the connotation of working harder, not smarter. That's just me. That's me. That's my makeup. That's where I am in my life. That doesn't mean everybody else has to follow that motto. But, when you're trying to add some more tread to the tires, I don't understand. If a team was willing to give me more money to play a lesser role, it's not adding up to me. So something else other than the fact that he wanted to go be he wanted to go be the head guy, which is fine. Listen, I'm cool with that. I promise, I'm super cool with it. I don't knock it. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm super cool with it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, it just seems a little weird that a team was willing to pay me more money. I wouldn't have had to move, right? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you feel like something's funny with the money? And I'm just playing. Do you feel like something else is is it something else to why Dre Greenlaw chose the Denver Broncos or chose to leave San Francisco? Or do you just feel like it was the simple fact that he was ready to move on and start his career as the head guy in a different place, different setting? Do you feel like that's the reason? Either way, they can be right. And you know what I want to do? I'm going to do right now? I'm going to give you a few options, right? I'm going to give you a few options. Dre Greenlaw's gone. The Niners need to figure out how to replace the weak side linebacker or the Sam linebacker, however you want to see it, whether it's on the strong side. Dre Greenlaw, when he's healthy, he doesn't come off the football field. So there's times he's going to be in your base 4-3. Dre Greenlaw's one of the linebackers, particularly on the weak side. He's going to cover the weak side. So he's going to be the guy that's going to be sideline to sideline speed, covering whoever out of the backfield, the tight end, whatever. He's your coverage linebacker, sort of, right? He has the speed to cover, speed to close out gaps, things like that. And on the strong side, in the 49ers base 4-3, if you go back to the era where they had him, Azeez Al-Shaair was your strong side linebacker. Dre Greenlaw continued to play on the weak side, which we call the will. When you had that era, like in a base 4-3, that was like, oh man, the trio of linebackers, right? And then we moved, Shaair moved on, right? And now Greenlaw's moving on. So for the 49ers, the options are in-house. The options, do you go Curtis Robinson? Do you go D. Winters? Which I feel like D. Winters would be more of a weak side linebacker. He misses way too many tackles for me. So I want him covering. He has the speed to cover. I actually want him to cover. Also, I want to use him in blitzing. So Tatum Bethune, right? These are the in-house guys, right? And then there's Curtis Robinson. He's returning from an ACL. Now, I'm not high on players returning from the ACL, and I just don't feel like they're gonna, that first year back, it's gonna be a little iffy. That's just from what I've seen. First year back, it's probably gonna be a little iffy. So the Niners are gonna have to look to the draft. And you can check out my 5 linebackers video. I got a reel. Check that out. Those 5 linebackers I think would fit perfectly. But if you're looking to replace a Dre Greenlaw caliber of a linebacker, right? If you're looking to replace that particular type or style of linebacker, it's Jahad Campbell from Alabama. He would be one of my options. And if you can't get him, there's another linebacker that I came across in my studies. And let me see if I could get his name, and then I'll get him to you. All right, I'll get him to you. Now, this kid has been, I feel like he can do what Jahad Campbell does, but he's also better from the edge. All right, he's also better from the edge. So Jahad Campbell is a better linebacker, off the ball, coverage, all that type of stuff, right? Like you're gonna get the measurable, like you're gonna get the boom, 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 right? From Jahad Campbell. Love him, first round pick for sure. But the Niners didn't want to spend the first round pick on Jahad Campbell, right? And Jalen Walker is different. So they're different types of linebackers. I feel like Jalen Walker would be better as an edge rusher than a linebacker. I just feel like that's his build, and that's that. I'm sticking to it. All right, there's nothing wrong with him, but if that's the route the Niners want to go, cool. But for me, when I'm looking at these linebackers, and we talk about outside linebackers as well, right? Because the Niners can go with Oladejo as well. He could be a good prospect. He can play the Sam. He can play the Will, right? He can play the linebacker. He's 240 pounds. He can play that if the Niners need him to be. They can go that route, right? But there's a kid named, let me see, make sure I got his name right. Let me see, do I have him in edge rushers or linebackers? I have him in edge rushers, so hold on. All right, take a look. Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State. The kid is 6'2", 240 pounds. He ran a 4.56 157 split. Now, because he's listed as an edge rusher and not a linebacker, he can play the weak side as a linebacker, like for sure. He can play the weak side as a linebacker for sure, like without a doubt. I don't think he would struggle on the weak side in coverage, rushing the passer, whatever you need. He could play the Sam as well. I think that would be a solid later round draft pick. So the Niners can have options, right? You can go Jahad Campbell early if they feel like that's the position they're trying to replace first for Dre Greenlaw. Cool. I'm about that life. I don't think they will. I don't think they're going to, but if they just happen to go linebacker, Jahad Campbell is the guy, because you want to have a guy on the football field that is going to give you production right away, right? Impact player right away. Now, Jahad Campbell might not be as strong as rushing the passer because he's, but as far as being a linebacker, he's the best. Now, if you want a linebacker that still developing as a linebacker, developing the linebacking skills, you want to go the opposite way and get a stronger pass rushing type of a linebacker, Colin Oliver, Oklahoma State. So I just dropped a new name, Colin Oliver, Oklahoma State. And if you have any questions about him, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. But that would be a nice, solid, like, say, hey, I don't go Campbell, I go edge, I go defensive tackle early. I'm going to be looking to get an outside linebacker. And I think what's tricking us up is we look at outside linebackers as 3-4 guys, but they can also play in a 4-3 if they have the speed and they have the body type. They could be 4-3 Sam linebackers. It's essentially the same thing. They're still outside. You're either out to the left or out to the right, right? And which are the ones that are going to be better as pass rushers? That's kind of, and so Femi Oladejo will be one, Olawufemi Oladejo from UCLA, and then Colin Oliver from Oklahoma State. So I just wanted to give you some options if the 49ers did move on. Well, they have to move on from Dre Greenlaw, but if the 49ers were looking to replace the production from Dre Greenlaw, that would be a solid pick. All right. Now, April 1st is on its way. Now, before we get to April 1st, this is not an April Fool's joke. Make sure you go ahead and check out our sponsors and partners over at residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezie so that way you can save on your total purchase and you'll be able to rock some of the cool caps like your favorite players are wearing. I'm actually rocking the Trent Williams brand, the SBG Silverback Gang brand from Residency. So this is the Trent Williams collection. All right, so if you guys want one of these joints, man, make sure you go on over there and use that promo code SFBreezie. Don't forget to hit that like button, and if this is your first time watching, click on subscribe. Let's get to April 1st, because April 1st is a big date for the 49ers. Why? Because this is the day where they're going to have to add the roster bonus of Brandon Aiyuk, not just for this year, too. I don't know if Adam Schefter knew this, but he did report this. 49ers owe wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk $22.85 million bonus if he's on the roster Tuesday, April 1st. Okay? Now, once the 49ers pay that bonus, any trade talks for Aiyuk would be off, and he would be expected to spend the 2025 season in San Francisco. So Tuesday looms as Aiyuk's unofficial trade deadline, and no deal currently is expected by then. Now, I already feel like Brandon Aiyuk will not be traded because I don't think that the Niners, who were probably asking for a king's ransom, was going to get what they wanted. They weren't trading him for a third-round pick, and all this stuff is going to come out too, I guarantee you. But I'm cool with this. If the owner's cool with paying 22, we talk about Jay York. If he's cool with paying the cash bonus, man, then cool, pay the cash bonus. Now, I know a lot of faithful are pissed off at Brandon Aiyuk from the way he handled his contract negotiations. But he also got injured, and he tore three ligaments in his knee, and he's making a great recovery. And now the reports are coming out that he should be good to go right about midway of the season. So you're talking October, November, right? So more like November, that would be mid-season. And so we'll probably get Aiyuk back, and he'll be eased back into the rotation for sure. He doesn't go full throttle. It's going to take time. He's to gain the confidence to play on the knee. Can he cut? Can he run? Can he jump? All that good stuff. What makes Brandon Aiyuk great is his athletic ability and some of the freakish parts of how he's made. Long arms, wingspan, stuff like that, and his ability to just find ways to get open. Great route runner, Brandon Aiyuk. And so I don't see a team that's going to be willing to cough up what the Niners are asking for. But if the Niners don't want Brandon Aiyuk, they will take whatever deals are on the table. So I guess the question is, like, do you feel Brandon Aiyuk will be traded before April 1st? It's a possibility, and if I have to put a percentage on it, I'm going slim to none. I've got maybe 0.01% that this happens. I think the Niners are already in place to pay. I think Jay York's in place to pay Brandon Aiyuk. You had a down season last year. You got what the Niners did with their roster is and to freed up that money. The dead cap is there, so Jed York is paying the dead cap. But when it comes to where the Niners are headed for the future, they've kind of done a hard reset, right, on how the money is spent. That's where they're resetting, not just on the players, not just on the positions, but how the cash is spent, the bonuses are spent. I don't think you have to reset on the Brandon Aiyuk situation right now, because when you extend Brock Purdy, if you extend George Kittle, if you restructure or extend Fred Warner, things are going to change up anyway. And so it's not necessarily a cap hit. The Niners are well underneath the cap for this year. They have money to actually spend far as cap money. It's kind of like how they're going to pay the money up front in bonus money. That's the money that comes out of the owner's pocket. And so $22.85 million will be guaranteed for Brandon Aiyuk this year. And I believe the April 1st deadline kicks in for next year as well, where he'll get the $22-something million as well, guaranteed bonus. So that's two big chunks of money. The Niners could look to move on from Brandon Aiyuk. I just don't see that happening right now. So I'm going out on a limb saying Brandon Aiyuk will be a 49er through the 2025 season for sure. So sign me up. If we can get him back in October, November, December, and we're on that playoff hunt, that would be great. That would be great, because adding Brandon Aiyuk back to the mix just makes things so much brighter for the San Francisco 49ers. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Does Brandon Aiyuk remain a 49er? I think that's something that we have to keep our ears to the streets about, because in that 25th hour, as Kyle Shanahan went and ran and got Brandon Aiyuk signed and blocked or vetoed the trade, he doesn't seem like he has that power anymore. I think right now it comes down to, what is Jed York willing to do? Does Jed York want to continue to spend $22 million on a player that's not going to play this year? And will they settle for peanuts? I think those are the two questions. Does Jed York want to pay the bread? And will they settle for a low compensation for a player returning from ACL, MCL, PCL injury? So we'll keep you updated with that as well. All right, let's get into these top 30 visits, right? So top 30 visits for the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, I believe official top 30 visits that that have been official are Harold Fannin Jr., Jalen Conyers, two tight ends. And we're going to talk about these guys, and we're going to kind of make a decision. Now, I've been trying to advocate that the 49ers, for two positions, I feel like defensive end, I think they're going to go speed, and tight end, I think they're going to go with versatility, right? Athleticism. I think for tight end, that's the tight end that they're missing. The athleticism and the versatility, right? So those are two factors that I think are going to help make up what the 49ers want to do with the tight end position. Now, why do we need another tight end? All right, that's probably the question. Why do we need another tight end? We just signed Luke Farrell to a 3-year deal. All right, why are we adding another tight end? Well, there are technically, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 types of tight ends, right? And so let's talk about your inline guys. Your inline tight ends are usually the bigger body tight ends. They're like the extension of the offensive line. That's why they call inline, and they're your blockers, right? They're going to pass protect. They're going to help chip on the defensive ends. They're also going to be like hopefully maulers in the run game. So when you get the inline blocking tight ends specifically, that's what you're asking them to do. Now, there are tight ends that can line up inline and block very well, a la George Kittle, right? Best blocking tight end in the NFL. And so the Niners are utilizing George Kittle because, well, we need him in here to pass protect. We need him in here to chip, to give Brock a little bit more time. So it's like a chip, hit the end, kick out, be ready for the quick pass or whatever. I think the Niners have two things from last year. They didn't have the second inline tight end. They didn't have, right? So Eric Saubert wasn't necessarily a good blocker. He was good to me in catching. I thought he could catch well. I thought you got that, but he lacked athleticism. He lacked so many different types of things. So when I'm thinking this year, the 49ers are going to look for a type when it comes to the tight end position. Now, they tried to draft two tight ends a few years back when they drafted Cameron Latou from Alabama, who they thought was going to be a red zone threat, and he couldn't catch the ball to save his life. And then he got injured. And then they also drafted later in that 7th round Braden Willis, who still remains on the roster. I think he's on the practice squad, but he still remains here. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners go two tight ends again. And I know you're like, well, why overload the tight end room? I think Kyle Shanahan has a type. And I believe I will go out on a limb that Kyle Shanahan is looking for the next Jordan Reed. The next Jordan Reed. I think that's who Kyle Shanahan is looking for. Now, for those that don't know who Jordan Reed is, he was a San Francisco 49er. I feel like that was the last team he played for, but hold on. I'll give you the correct stats, all right? I'll get you the correct stats, all right? So in 2020, the last team he played for was the San Francisco 49ers. He played in 10 games. He only started in one. All right, and that from that particular season, he was targeted 46 times, had 26 receptions that year for 231 yards. He had 4 TDs that year, and he was responsible for 16 first downs that year. Now, why Jordan Reed? Well, Jordan Reed was athletic. He moved very smoothly. He wasn't a fast guy. He was just a quick, smooth route running, good hands. The issues with Jordan Reed were his health. He couldn't figure out how to stay healthy. And here we go. Just 2013, he was drafted by Washington, Kyle Shanahan. Boom, right? That's the connection. So Kyle Shanahan, this was a guy. And he never was a 1,000-yard tight end. He never was a 1,000-yard tight end. But in 2015 is where he had his most productive season. He finished close to 1,000 yards. He had 952 yards, but he had 11 TDs. He was really utilized in that offense. Kyle Shanahan likes 12 personnel. 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receiver sets. He likes coming out on the football field because that's forcing the defense to cover somebody else. So you're forcing the defense to either play a nickel or a big nickel, right? You're forced, and most teams aren't built with the big nickel. They don't have the extra safety with the speed. Oh my gosh, they don't have that extra safety with speed. Okay, so safeties and corners, 2 different positions, and a big nickel. You usually want to play that safety because he's bigger. He's bigger in size. But if you have a safety with speed, you can put a big nickel out there and you don't have to put that extra third smaller cornerback that's going to cover a tight end. Kyle Shanahan is looking to utilize this particular type of personnel because most teams in the NFL aren't equipped with good nickels, nickels that can cover tight ends, I would say. Now, there are some corners out there that I think are dogs, like Mike Sanders still from the Commanders. I think he can cover tight ends as a corner. I think he can cover tight ends as a corner. But again, like I said, this is where Kyle Shanahan is looking to kind of probably flipped the script a little bit. I think Bobby Slowick, not Bobby Slowick, who's our offensive coordinator. My apologies. Not Slowick. Oh my gosh, one of the brothers. All right. I just feel like they're going to get an opportunity to do some things a little bit differently depending on the personnel that's on the football field. I can't believe I'm having a blank. And I know it's one of the brothers. We've had both of the brothers, and I can't think of our offensive coordinator name off the top of my head. That's blowing my mind. Slowick is with the Seahawks. So my apologies. 49ers OC. And you guys are going to be like, oh, yeah. Oh, Kubiak. I could not remember Kubiak's name. I just know Kyle worked for Kubiak, and then we had Clay, and now we have Clay Kubiak. All right, so Clay Kubiak. I think 12 personnel is going to be something really big to Kyle Shanahan, but we need the system, but we need that extra tight end. And I like Luke Farrell, but he's not your receiving tight end. So, said all that to say that the 49ers have top 30 visits with two of those athletic guys that kind of fit the Jordan Reed. I'm telling you, he kind of fits that Jordan Reed mold. Now, Jordan Reed was a third-round draft pick. He was drafted pick 85 by the Washington Redskins. Shout out to my Connecticut native, to Jordan Reed, New London, Connecticut in the building, man. You get air horns for that, dog. All right. So when I think he made the Pro Bowl one time, and I feel like that's where the Niners are looking when it comes to tight end. Who's athletic, who can do some of the things that I need them to do, can move, can block. They still got to be able to block. It's not blocking is still on par. So the 49ers, Harold Fannin Jr., I've been talking about Harold Fannin Jr. for the longest. I've been mock drafting him. I don't know what else you guys need to know. Now, I get it. A lot of people don't like his size. They don't like, I guess he ran a 4.7. All right, so 4.7, 4.71 to be exact at the NFL Combine. Not super fast. Runs a little stiff in the straight line. But I tell you what, if you don't have the personnel to cover him, he will out-muscle you. He will get open. I'm sitting watching this film, and I'm like, yo, how did he have 1,555 yards? That's what I'm saying. Like, how did he get 1,555 yards? How did he get that many yards? His kid averaged 13.3 yards per reception. He was targeted 150 times in the Bowling Green's offense, and he had 117 receptions. Like, that's ridiculous. 10 TDs, including all the bowl games. We're including the bowl games. Here's what I like about him. His offensive grade, phenomenal. Doesn't drop the ball, phenomenal. But when I look at what do I look for when I'm looking at these tight ends? Because if the Niners are looking to throw the ball down the field, they're looking to throw it underneath. Like, that's it. 34 missed tackles forced. Like, you're not bringing this guy down to the ground. If you allow him to catch the ball underneath, he has the speed to outrun you because he takes the right angles. If you let him catch the ball over the top, he has great hands, even for a 6'4", 230-pound guy. So Harold Fannin Jr. provides the 49ers with athleticism in some way. You're not going to get the speed from him, but you're going to get I feel like you're going to get the agility. I feel like you'll get a mover, right, out there up on the line. Like, you're going to get somebody that can move, all right? A 6.97 3-cone. That's the second best 3-cone from the tight end position. Second best. Harold Fannin Jr., second best 3-cone from the tight end position. I can absolutely see the San Francisco 49ers saying, I want to go with Harold Fannin Jr. as their tight end, whether he's tight end 2, whether he's tight end 3. Let's just take a look at his RAS score, because I don't want people to think I'm blowing smoke. But he scored low, and look at the areas. The red areas are low scores because of his height, 6'3", weight, 241. but he did put up 22 reps in the bench. He put up 22 reps in the bench. I did want to put that out there, and that's tied for third from the tight ends at the combine. And then there's his speed, right? He's just not fast, but I feel like that's a pretty daggone good. Shuttle's not bad. 6'6". I mean, the split's not bad. Sorry, 1.66. I like the split. It's not bad for a tight end. That means he's just slow to accelerate, But if you're playing off coverage on him, he's gonna be able to pick up that speed as he goes. All right. Athleticism as far as his jumping, all right, it's mid, it's good, it's not phenomenal. But where did he test really well? 3-cone. What does that mean? That means that his change of direction is quicker than the majority of the tight ends in this draft. So if he starts one way, he's able to go the other way just like that. And that is a key that the 49ers are probably looking for when they're looking at a tight end. This ain't even about how great are they in the red zone. They're going to be looking at drop rate. He can catch. That's there's no doubt in my mind he can't catch. Harold Fannin Jr. is a catcher. He has 1,555 yards with 10 touchdowns. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's not productive. The most productive tight end coming out of this draft, to be honest. The most productive tight end. Honestly, if the Niners are willing to spend a third-round pick, that is your Jordan Reed. Bam, my comp for Jordan Reed. But there's another player that they got a top 30 visit with, and his name is Jalen Conyers. All right, now he started his career off at Arizona State. All right, let's take a look at his athleticism, which is through the roof. Just because the weight alone bumped him up. Like, all right, another 6'3" guy, but at 260, bigger body frame for a tight end, that's what you want, especially if you're lining them up in line, right? If you're lining them up on the offensive line, not outside as a receiver, but on the offensive line. So, boom. This kid finished at like number one in few statistical categories, all right? So he had the number one 3-cone. He had the number one 20-yard shuttle, all right? He didn't bench at the combine, but he had the number one 3-cone. And if I love the 6.97, I'm in love with the 6.94. So when we're talking about change of direction, faithful, this is a guy that could change direction quickly, right? And that's what we're talking about, right? And so these guys, Jalen Conyers, I got a 4th-round grade on him. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to sneak him into the 3rd round. The Niners have 2 4th-round picks, all right? I would not be surprised if they use a 3rd-round pick on a Harold Fannin Jr. or a 4th-round pick on a Jalen Conyers. They need that change of direction type of tight end. Both guys are slow. Fannin Jr. was a 4.71. He's a 4.74. His split is 1.62, so he has a quicker burst. But man, 35.5 inch vertical, 10 feet 1 inch, 10 feet broad jump. Like this kid is hella athletic. And then when you look at his production, different. So like this is crazy because you look at the film and you be like, yo, I like what I see from him. I like what he does, but where's all the production? I mean, I know all the production didn't go to their running back out there, Taj Brooks. Who's putting up the production from Texas Tech? All right. 42 targets, 30 receptions. That was it. Played in all the games. Right? 320 yards. He did average 10.7 yards per reception with 5 TDs. So like the production is there. Like the production isn't there. Excuse me. It's not as honestly, this is where production is supposed to be for a tight end. Like I feel like this is the average. I'm not mad at the production, but this is like the average of where the tight end's production lied. I'm not gonna lie, in that 300-yard mark, because college football is typically about the wide receivers. Now there are 2 tight ends I feel like that were outliers. Tyler Warren from Penn State, and then Harold Fannin Jr. As far as production, like those dudes gave you production. He only has 4 missed tackles forced. So I think it's going to come down to like preference for the 49ers. What are they looking for? They're looking for a guy that's going to be bigger body style. Are they looking for a guy that's going to, good, obviously solid hands. Where do these two tight ends differ? I think that's the question. So like where do the two tight ends differ for these particular players? I think for me, size, that's number one, right? If you're going tight end, size is number one. So Jalen Colliers, bigger body, probably can withstand more hits. Speed, Fannon's a little bit faster, but they're right around the same. They're both this average speed for a tight end, right? 4.7. Where do they differ? And it's got to be production and style. They both can do all the same things. Line up in the backfield, play the wildcat. They all do the same thing. They can throw, they can run. But for me, for some reason, Harold Fannin Jr. seems like he has the slight edge because of what he did. Now, Texas Tech competition, is it greater than Bowling Green's competition? The game I watched from Harold Fannin Jr. was against Penn State, and I like every one of their defensive players. So, who would you choose? If you had to pick a tight end for the 49ers, not named Colston Loveland, not named Tyler Warren, and you had to pick between Harold Fannin Jr. or Jalen Conyers, who would be your tight end? Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section of the show for sure. Listen, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the WayneBreezie Show. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you smash that like button. Don't forget, if you're new to the stream, please subscribe to the channel. Also, you can support the stream and support everything that I'm going to be doing as far as content and stuff like that by just becoming a member of the Breezie Bunch crew. It's super simple, man. Just click on the join button. Boom, boom, boom. You'll be there. I'll be back with more episodes for sure, so make sure that your notifications are set to on and all, right? You don't want to miss out. All right. Don't forget to check out that mock draft from the WayneBreezie Show that aired a little bit earlier on today, which is Mock Draft Monday. We're 24 days out to the NFL draft, and things are really going to start heating up. I can't wait. Keep it faithful to the Bay, everybody, and peace out.
What's up, faithful? Thanks for watching. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you check out some of the other cool videos.